Om. Om. Sairam, dear brothers and sisters, what a great day and time for this virtual divine congregation. First, let us offer our pranams and oblations to Surya Kulottama Sai Raghunandana after the Surya Grahana to be befitting. Let us all install our beloved Swami, Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, the real sunshine in our hearts. Let him shine and radiate all the time. Let us have that constant integrated awareness. From the shining sun, I would just like for us to just move a little bit to a few shining stars that reflect the glory of this shining sun, Swami. Let's talk about these shining stars a little bit. Back in the late 1970s, well into the 80s, when I was a Sundaram Bhajan Sevak, I used to keenly follow the Brindavan College students' bhajan singing. I loved it a lot. They were phenomenal, outstanding, awesome, the best I have ever heard. Truly, truly. And so I fondly call them lovable Sai brats. Yeah, that's a harsh word, but it means the right thing. They are lovable Sai brats. They were so audacious in singing. They were so brash. They were so bold. They were so innovative. And they really brought up a renaissance of Sai Bhajan singing. They really created a revolution and redefined the way bhajans were sung. It was astounding. It attracted a lot of youngsters, including me at that time. And that's the reason I call them. You know, what I used to do is listen to audio cassettes of their recordings. I wouldn't know who is singing what, but I know all the names because I'm keenly following. Rupak Sharma, Rupak Changkakoti, Lakshminarayan Kote, Neil Bordaloy, Sonam Jamsu, and of course, our shining star of the day, Dr. Hirok Changkakoti. And dear Sai brother Hirok said, I am nobody, it's all Swami. And that's why I said, these are the shining stars that are reflecting Swami's glory. And we are fortunate to be able to see those stars and, you know, interact with them. So that's a great thing. So now I will tell you why I call them lovable Sai brats. Because they were all singing in the Bridge Across Time volumes, the albums that were released. These were the, you know, I would say singing heroes. They really accomplished something. And those were reflected in the albums. And so today, I would say, you know, just a few days back, I missed the opportunity to introduce my dearest Sai brother, Gopi Chan, as Swami calls him, he said. And instead, Swami gave me another opportunity today to introduce another dearest Sai brother, loving Sai brother, Dr. Hirok Changkakoti. Okay? So, what I would like to do is say one more thing. I would say one more thing. When these people were singing their way to his glory, I was wondering, how were they doing academically? How were they doing? Probably, Swami was worried and concerned, and he was working hard relentlessly to ensure that he studied and made all of them succeed academically in a brilliant fashion. And they all did, thanks to Swami. So that is a miracle of Swami, where he lets you do everything, the right things. So without much ado, I'll go into the introduction of Dr. Hirok Changkakoti. Dr. Hirok Changkakoti joined the Sri Sathya Sai College of Arts, Science and Commerce in 1976 for his pre-university education, and went on to complete his Ph.D. in Financial Management in 1992 from the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. He was in the first batch of postgraduates from the Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, as also being in the first batch of research scholars of the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, pursuing a Ph.D. degree. In 1983, he was awarded the Best All-Rounder Gold Medal for being the best all-rounder student in the university. He has been singing in front of Swami since 1977 and has been commanded by him to give many concerts in the Divine Presence since his pre-university days, since 1977 onwards. He has been fortunate to present several musical programs for Swami's birthdays, including the 60th birthday celebrations. Swami has commanded him to sing Ramakatha in his Divine Presence hundreds of times. Believe that. In 1978, Swami tasked him and a team of bhajan singers and the famous playback singer Srimati P. Sushila to participate in the recording of Sai Katha, a musical compilation of Swami's life in Telugu. The recording for this album was done in Chennai during Swami's visit to Sundaram in 1978. This album was released by Swami in 1978 during his 57th birthday celebrations, during which the Sai Katha was performed first in the Divine Presence. During his Ph.D. days, during Hirok's Ph.D. days, Swami asked him to play the lead role of Adi Shankara in the drama Bhajagovindam. This drama was staged in the Divine Presence, first in the University Auditorium in Puttaparthi, and then accompanied Swami to Mumbai, and it was put up in the Shanmukhananda Hall in present-day Mumbai. Chaudhaya Memorial Hall in Bangalore also witnessed the same. This drama was completely directed by Swami, which included the way as to how to walk, the dialogue delivery, and the singing style. We thank our Chennai Metro West District President Sri Suresh Chandar for organizing this splendid opportunity this evening. And without much ado again, over to you, dear brother Hirok. Sairam.
Sairam, Sairam. Am I audible? Madhav? Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. I wish I deserve that, all these beautiful adulations and beautiful praises that you sang. But I just know one thing, that all this was possible because of Swami. So in our lives, Swami is our universe, and it is he who willed what he wanted out of us. So to pay as an ode to what Swami means to us, all of us, I would just like to sing this sloka. Tvameva matascha Pita Tvameva bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva vidya Dravinam Tvameva sarvam Mama deva deva Tvameva sarvam Mama deva deva Tvameva sarvam Mama deva deva Sri Sai Deva. He's everything for us, isn't it? So with pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, I thank all of you to have given me this wonderful opportunity and honor to speak of Swami. Because it's while we speak of Swami that we remember him, and then can remember and then refresh our memories of what he was with us, and what he wanted us to be, and how he interacted with us. So the talk that I'm going to give today is actually the journey of all of us. Actually, see, all of us are extremely lucky that we came into the Sai fold because he willed us to know him. See, there are so many people in this world, but then what happens was that there are only few of us who came to know of Swami and who were drawn to him, and then got enveloped in his love, and then in that process we were all changed, and all of us went on from considering Swami as our Mata Pita, and then we went on to believe in him, in being everything for all of us. He became the center of our life. He was instrumental in our Godward journey. He became our God. He became our confidant. He became our advisor. He became our resource of last resort. And everything that used to happen in our lives would be centered around how we could follow what Swami wanted us to follow, how we could do what Swami wanted us to do. So this is how it is for all of us, all the Sai devotees who have come into the fold of Swami's love and grace. So for me also it started in this manner. This was in the late 1960s, and then we were in a very, very distant place known as Shillong, where we used to live there. Shillong is a place which is the capital city of present-day Meghalaya, but at that time it was part of Assam. So we used to stay in Shillong, and then it is around 4,000 to 5,000 kilometers away from Puttaparthi. But Swami manifest himself there, and then so how did he introduce himself to us? How did he get us into his fold? So there was this relative of ours who actually had a bhajan session in their house, and they invited us. So by that time we had not known anything about Swami, but we used to go to some of these kirtans and all in that part of the country, and these kirtans used to start at a certain time and then continue for 2 to 3 hours. So we thought that okay, it might be something like that. So we went to this bhajan session, which was organized by one of our relatives. Unfortunately, as is the case in all bhajans, this bhajan started dot on time and ended up dot on time. So by the time we reached there, the bhajan was already over. So there was nothing much which we could do. But then we just, they told us there was a person named as Panikar who was in the Air Force, but was stationed in Shillong. So he told us about something about Swami. And mind you, by that time we had not known much about Swami. But then he said that, okay, listen, why don't you take a photograph of Swami? It was a small photograph which we framed and then kept it in a puja room. There were a lot of other gods and goddesses, photographs of gods and goddesses, and then we kept this photograph also, framed it and kept it in the puja room. And then see, at that time, all of us were pretty young. We were not very old, because we were still in school days. But then there was no hesitation in any of us that there was no hesitation. There's some background noise. Okay, there was no hesitation in any of us in accepting Swami for what he was, right? So this picture of the God was quite different from the picture of gods and goddesses which we are normally accustomed to seeing. So we got this photograph in our puja room, and with our limited knowledge of bhajans, we started singing some bhajans, or mostly some of these Assamese songs. Bhajans, Assamese devotional songs. So we used to do that. We used to do that quite often. And then, just imagine the magnitude of love and grace which Swami has in on all of us. He started coming and manifesting his compassion and love to all of us. So, with our limited knowledge of bhajans, when we started singing bhajans in front of the photographs, I don't know what was it that pleased Swami so much that he Amrit and Vibhuti started manifesting in all the photographs. Our knowledge of Swami and our knowledge of the procedures of bhajans and all that was completely zero. But then Swami was pleased with that itself, and then started showing himself, manifesting himself, and showed us his presence, compassion, and love. And then in various ways. I'll tell you one incident which happened. This was during one of these dysfunctional bhajan sessions which we had in our house. So all of us were sitting there and singing bhajans. By that time we had learnt 2 or 3 bhajans, and then we were singing those bhajans along with Assamese devotional songs which we used to sing in front of the gods and goddesses. And this was a Sunday, and it was in the afternoon. So suddenly we started hearing footsteps. Okay, and these footsteps, the footsteps were very, very audible to all of us, because the flooring of the house was all in wooden. It was a wooden flooring, so there was a lot of this. The sound of Swami's footsteps could be heard traveling through room number 1, room number 2, and then coming and stopping in front of the room where the altar was there. And then, see, all of us were hearing. It's not that only one pair of ears could hear. There were 5 pairs of ears which heard these footsteps, and all our eyes were on that doorstep. What is happening? And that footsteps stopped there. And from there, in front of all of eyes, there were 5 pairs of eyes. The light traversed all the photographs. It was like a deepak. It traversed all the photographs, and in front of our eyes only the flowers started drooping, and then Amrit started falling down. I remember my elder brother Rupak, who was also with Swami. He was a curious person, so he went and tasted one of this of the Amrit that was falling. We actually did not know that it was Amrit, but it was falling. The liquid that was flowing, it was beautifully fragrant and sweet. And then we realized that it is something like Amrit. And we informed Mr. Panikar about this. And so that is how Swami started coming into our family. Swami started showing his grace. Swami started showing his presence. Swami started showing his love for each of us, saying that, listen, come here. I am here. I am the God that you are seeking. Come, worship me. This is how it started. And of course, there were so many incidents of Swami's presence, so many incidents of Swami's protecting us, so many incidents of Swami making us aware of his presence in our family. So there was a time when my father got transferred from one place which was Shillong to another place in Assam which was known as Dibrugarh. So uh, that time was at that time all of us were pretty young, and my mother was left alone. She had to protect all of us who were there because my father had come off to Dibrugarh. Uh, and of course, at that time, we were quite active in Sai activities. And so I think my father and my mother, they thought that, okay, it's better that we leave everything to Swami. And so my father came off for his duty to Dibrugarh. So this happened. This happened, and then unfortunately for us, during that time, there were several robbery attempts in our house, and there were times when we could see the group of robbers who were just waiting to barge or break into our houses, and there was nothing that we could do. So every night was a night of fear. Every night was a night of prayer. Every night was an earnest request to Swami. Swami, please look after us. And then what we did was all of us gathered together in one room, and we used to sleep together, thinking that, okay, all of us will give strength to each other. And then Swami came. Swami came to protect us. And how did Swami come to protect us? We didn't see his physical form, but then every day, every night at 9 o'clock, the whole house will be permeated with the fragrance of Vibhuti. And the sense of confidence and assurance that grew in all of us once we heard that Vibhuti smell actually assured us that Swami was there. There were once or twice when Swami used to knock on the bedroom door where all of us are sleeping, because all of us earnestly prayed that Swami come and protect us. So this was one more incident where Swami again reaffirmed his presence in our life, reaffirmed that he is always there to protect us, reaffirmed his love for us. And then of course, so that's how he kept on doing incidents or experiences for all of us to just reaffirm and be more aware of the fact that Swami is always there with us. And of course, then there was one more incident which I wanted to tell. I think this is also a very, very improbable and completely unbelievable experience which Swami showed to us. This happened in a different place in Assam. It is in Dibrugarh. On a particular day, one of the ardent devotees of Swami suddenly rushed to our house and said that my father is very ill. Please come and do some bhajans. That plea was that, okay, do some bhajans, maybe something will happen to him and he might become better. Or if nothing happens and if it is time for him to go, at least he'll hear bhajans while he's on his deathbed. So there was if such a plea comes to you, what would you do? So myself, I was not there, I guess. Yes, it was my brother Rupak, and along with him there was one more person known as Biren Bodler, who's my uncle, and he is now presently in Prashanthi Nilayam. He worked in the Department of English. So they rushed to this lady's house and started singing bhajans. The bhajan, I guess, must have been very intense, because as the bhajan progressed, there were signs, or there were small spots of white which came out on the coat of my brother Rupak. Okay, and my uncle who was sitting behind him could see that this spots kept on increasing as the bhajans was progressing. And there was also one more simultaneous incident or simultaneous happening which was happening there with the person who was on the deathbed. He started showing signs of revival and he started showing signs of becoming better. So the intense bhajans continued, and then as the bhajans continued, the man who was near death in his health became much better, and and there was this vibhuti which was coming out of my brother's coat, and so they collected the vibhuti, gave it to him, and that man went on to live for three more years after this incident. So this was something which was completely improbable, incomprehensible. Can you imagine that a person who's almost on his deathbed, by hearing Swami's Swami's bhajans, he becomes better and continues to live even after? It was actually almost like a rise from the dead, and this happened. And then Swami, the bhajans that were being sung were all bhajans of Swami, and Swami performed this miracle through a third party, through 2 or 3 people who were there for bhajan singing. So as these things continued in our lives, and then the more and more these incidents and these experiences took place in our lives, the more and more we were drawn towards Swami. The more and more we got enveloped in his love. The more and more we got directions in our life. And then, of course, Swami, there are various occasions on which Swami used to guide us. Even a simple thing like when there was no money in our pockets, and if we had dire need of money, suddenly we will find money in our pockets. So Swami kept on giving these experiences, making us aware of him, making us aware of his love, making us aware of his compassion, making us aware of his protection. And then in 1975, Swami sent a message to my father to come and attend the 50th birthday celebrations. I think it was the 50th birthday celebrations, and Swami said, come. My father didn't get any leave, and he was also not in a position to really financially to purchase the ticket to come to Swami. And I don't know how Swami came to know. Swami sent a telegram. Come applying Sikh leave. These are the exact words which he used. Come applying Sikh leave. And and subsequent to the arrival of this telegram, somehow some money which was due from the government of India came into his bank account, and he had sufficient money to come and visit Puttaparthi. And of course, Swami gave a lot of love to him during that time, and then Swami made him the state convener at that time. But one more thing which he did was that he talked about our full family. By that time, of course, Rupak was already there. He's doing his BSc. Rupak has his own story, and each of our family members have their own stories about how Swami influenced them, how Swami influenced their life, how Swami influenced their life path. All that, each of us have a story. But I am talking more of how Swami brought me in. So after the 50th birthday celebrations got over, Swami called my father for an interview and told him about all of us, and told specifically about my elder brother Rupak, and then told about all of us, and sent clothes for all of us, and then said that next year you come with your full family. This was the time when I was actually preparing for my 10th standard. So and then after that, Swami followed it up with one more letter, which he wrote to my father. And of course, there were a lot of philosophical truths which he revealed in that letter. But then at the end, he told, come with family, come and see me. Okay. So I guess this is the experience of each one of us, each of the Sai devotees. Swami reveals himself, draws us closer to him, and then envelops us in his love, compassion, and then starts protecting us, guiding us, advising us on what to do. So this is also what happened in my life. So Swami, so we came to Puttaparthi, and unfortunately when we came and reached Puttaparthi, so we came by a train. A train used to take 4 hours, 4 days of journey. We came to Puttaparthi, and Swami was not there in Puttaparthi. So we didn't know what to do. We went around and then asked. Then nobody was. Everybody told us that Swami is not here, and we don't know when he's coming. He's in Vrindavan. So someone told us that you go and talk with Kutumbarao. That time Kutumbarao was the in charge of Puttaparthi. So we went and talked with Kutumbarao. Of course, Kutumbarao is a very this thing. He said, "Okay, why did you come here?" So he said, "Because Swami called us." So we came. We told him about our predicament and told him that, see, we have come all the way from Guwahati, and then this is why we came. Swami has called us. So then he was kind enough to make a phone call to Swami. No mobile phones at that time. Made a phone call to Swami, and the first thing which Swami told him that వాళ్ళు ఎందుకు పిచ్చివాడు వాళ్ళు ఎందుకు అందరూ అక్కడ పుట్టపర్తి పోయినారు. So this is in Telugu. So what Swami said was, why are these fellows so mad people? Why did they go to Puttaparthi? Brindavan ki Ramana. So call them to Brindavan. Send them to Brindavan. So next day morning we started to Brindavan. And that time there was only one bus which used to come in the early morning and which used to go around and round everywhere and then finally reach Bangalore. We reached Bangalore in the Kalasipalam and found that the Swami had sent a car to pick us up. And at that time, of course, the car was driven by Radha Krishna, and my brother was also there. So they could recognize us, and then they picked us up, and then we went to Vrindavan. That time Vrindavan Swami was staying in the old bungalow. So Swami told us to stay in the room which was next to the interview room, and every day he used to talk with us on various things. The only thing which was very striking to me and which I still remember very vividly was there was a small function in the college. That time, most of the classes in Vrindavan were not in the new college building, which is built much later, but it was in the Vrindavan campus itself. So there was this Kalyan Mandap. Part of that was also used for classes. Part of that was also used for hostel. And then there was this. Presently, in Vrindavan you have the foreigners bungalow. There it was earlier. There was some 2-3 buildings which were also used as hostel. So there was a function in this Kalyan near the Kalyan Mat. So Swami sent word that, okay, please come and attend this function. So I went and attended the function. While going back, Swami just asked me, "Kaisa lag raha hai?" He asked me in Hindi. "Kaisa laga?" I said, "What?" I said, "Swami, bahut acha laga. Idhar aao tum." So he said, "You please come to my college." and I can tell with so much of, I mean, with a lot of confidence, as well as all the this thing. I didn't have a single bit of hesitation in saying that, yes, Swami, I'll come. And so I went back to Guwahati, gave my 10th standard, and before the results could come out, Swami sent word that you come to the hostel. So we came off to the hostel and stayed in the hostel, because, but not attending the college because our results were still not out. But that drawing towards you, drawing you towards him, started from that day itself. And then he started. So we came and stayed in the hostel without the results, of course. And we stayed in the hostel for 15 days without going and attending any classes, but then participating in all the activities of the hostel. What I now realize after so many years is that all this time when we were coming, see, this was we were actually getting pulled into a completely different culture, because at that time the hostel buildings and the hostel facilities were not as good as they are now. The new hostel building had not been built, so there was a lot of let's say, lot of sacrifices which each of us had to do when we were staying in the hostel. I wouldn't say sacrifice, because we were getting God, we were living with God, we were staying in, we were actually studying in God's college. So, but then there was all these small things, like, take for example, we used to sleep on the floor. There were get up early in the morning, go for Suprabhatam, take bath in that cold weather, with cold water, and then have a very disciplined life. Go for breakfast, have breakfast in time, go to college, come back from college, and then enjoy Swami's bliss and presence and bhajans in Swami's presence in the evenings. All of us used to look forward to that. When we think of the days when Swami was there in Vrindavan, right? And this was actually even before the hostel building came up. We just think that the number of students were also pretty less, and the amount of time which Swami used to spend in Vrindavan itself was much more than what he used to do in Puttaparthi. And then the amount of attention that he used to give to each and every student was something beyond comprehension. It is something which we can never think of afterwards. At that time, the university also had not started. So Swami used to, all of us used to look forward to the bhajans in the evenings, and then Swami used to call, and he'll be surrounded by all the boys, talking, joking, pulling someone's leg, asking some elder to speak, to inspire us, and then conducting the bhajans. Swami will be there in the sitting on his chair. All of us are surrounding him. Actually, all of us are packed together in that small space. And Swami playing the manjira, asking each and everyone to sing. Okay, no pado, you sing. You sing that song. That was the type of relationship which Swami built. And it was during one of these bhajan sessions that Swami asked me to sing. So I am not a trained singer. I never learned music. But then my father and mother were both. My mother was a radio artist, and my father used to sing well. So maybe the genes from my parents, I squeaked my way through. And Swami said, Baga Pado. It means, oh, you sang well. Okay. Um, though I know that what I sang was only audible to me, not very audible to the others who were who were listening to me, but Swami was playing the manjira very enthusiastically and hearing the song. So everybody was, you know, participating in this bhajan. So that's how I first that's how I first started singing. And then my holidays came. Uh, I had a very strong desire not to go back to my hometown. Some said, no, you have to go. Everybody went off, but there were a few of us who did not, who asked Swami, please, can we stay on? Can we stay on? And Swami agreed. Swami said, okay, sarile, manchidi, miru nandi. But what would we do? We don't have classes, so Swami made us do some social service near the hostel. That hostel building was there, so he started asking us to do some social service, and then of course this bhajan sessions used to happen. And it was during that time when Swami said, "Okay, ask him to come upstairs." Upstairs means where is the living quarters of Swami. So Swami should come, asked me to go up, and then all this time, what I could realize was that Swami was actually giving me a lot of encouragement, just to get the best out in everyone. That's what Swami does. Swami never ever scolds a person, or never ever tells anybody that, oh, you're not well, you're not doing that well, you're not doing this well, you're not doing that well. Swami always gets out the best in all of us through positive reinforcement. He'll always say that, okay, you have sung well, you can do better. This is how he started training us. And then there was one more aspect of Swami's interaction with us during that time, and and this must be the experience of all of us, or all of us who have had interaction with Swami, or a lot of our students. Swami will make us do a particular thing again and again. Okay. So like, take for example, suppose there is a particular bhajan which he wants us to perfect. The first thing which he does is that when he starts asking you to sing that again and again, it basically makes you more and more perfect in that bhajan. That's the first part. The second part is, because of repeated practice, your confidence in singing that bhajan becomes much more. And the third thing is, as Swami keeps on asking you to sing the song again and again, you will also start trying to make that song better and better, and trying to get the best of nuances in that song. So this was what was happening. This was the training that Swami gave in singing, and some of the bhajans that I used to sing in front of Swami is, of course, I remember a bhajan which I have sung so many times in front of Swami is this bhajan, which is of course composed by Sonam. The only thing which I wanted to say was that, see, when all of us, like Madhavan was saying, that we were to sing bhajans in a very different way. Actually, that praise should not come to us. It is Swami who inspired us to sing that way, because all of us have never been trained in bhajan singing or trained in music. So this is one of the songs. This song was one of the songs which was inspired by Swami, and Swami inspired Sonam to compose this bhajan. So this thing is, you will follow me, Madhavan?
Sairam.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So this is the song. Prashanthi Nilayam Nivasa अर्ज सुनो मेरे बाबा अर्ज सुनो मेरे परम कृपालु अर्ज सुनो मेरे परम कृपालु
अर्ज सुनो मेरे परम कृपालो
परतीश्वर साई देवा
परतीश्वर साई देवा
अर्ज सुनो मेरे परम कृपालु
अर्ज सुनो मेरे परम कृपालो
सत्य सनातन अंतर्यामी
सत्य सनातन अंतर्यामी
सकल चराचर तुम हो स्वामी
सकल चराचर तुम हो स्वामी
जन्म मरण से पार करो
जन्म मरण से पार करो
भव बंधन से उद्धार करो बाबा
भव बंधन से उद्धार करो बाबा
अर्ज सुनो मेरे परम कृपालु. So this was one of the songs which we used to sing, and composed by Sonam in Vrindavan, and completely inspired by Swami. Even our singing was inspired by Swami. So as time went on, I mean, there were times when used to be, I mean, this was something which was happening to me. I used to fall very frequently sick. So, you know, Swami was immediately, as a mother, he was concerned that why is this fellow falling sick so often? So he sent me to that general hospital in Whitefield. And the first time when I went, they said that no problem, he's got chronic maxillary sinusitis. I think if we do this treatment, he should be fine. You know, God, who knows what is ailing me, sent me to the general hospital because he wanted to, give a chance to the doctor who was examining him, so that he can come back and report to Swami. Swami, this fellow has got this problem, so this is what he should do. But okay, so this was the first instance when he sent me there, but then still this fever, frequent bouts of fever never subsided. So Swami once again sent me to the hospital, and then this time where it was diagnosed that he has got enlarged tonsils. and there has to be a tonsillectomy for him to become better, because they were saying that because of this tonsils problem, uh, and they have become septic because of that. A lot of poison or something is going into his stomach, and so his stomach is also will at some point of time become worse. So Swami said, okay, so let this tonsillectomy happen. Now, tonsillectomy is a very simple procedure, and then it does not require that much of an expertise or that much of an expert doctor. But then, no, Swami, the way Swami uh, looked at this whole episode was so very different, because some of my family members were worried that what will happen to his voice once he does this tonsillectomy. So Swami called my mother and sister and told him that don't worry, nothing will happen. And 3 days before the operation was to take place, Swami started talking with my mother and father as well, trying to assure or reassure them that no, don't worry, nothing will happen. This is just a normal this thing. And at that time, I was only thinking that why is Swami making such a big deal out of this small operation which is going to happen? So that this is what happened. And a day before the operation was to take place, Swami went to the hospital and said that, okay, let him stay here because I had to stay overnight at the hospital. And on the day, on the previous day, Swami took me and one of my cousin brothers to the hospital and dropped us there and said that, okay, this was in the evening, and dropped us there and then said that, okay, tomorrow morning will be the operation, and then I'll also come. Next day morning, preparations for the operation were underway, and everybody, I mean, like the patient also had to be prepared for the operation. So Swami, this thing, and then suddenly everybody was running around alert. Swami has come to the hospital. So Swami came to the hospital and went into the operation theatre straight, and he was there. And of course, by that time, I think this operation was done under general anesthesia. So I actually didn't know what happened. But they took me to the operation theatre, and then the operation started. Because Swami was there in the hospital, that operation theatre was completely crowded. Everybody wanted to come into the operation theatre because Swami is there. And unfortunately, during that time, there was a huge electrical malfunction, and that may be because of the fact that someone must have or someone must have touched a plug point, which would have which has led to this situation, and the whole operation was plunged into darkness. You know what Swami did? Swami took a torchlight and then put the torchlight for the doctor to continue the operation. And then he told Rupak was also there in that operation, and told that, okay, no, na car chiskoni, go to Brindavan and get. That time there was someone called Mr. Krishna Swami, who used to be an electrical engineer. So he was rushed back, and then somehow they restored the electricity in the operation theatre, and then of course the operation theatre, the operation was concluded successfully. But then what happened was, as a result of this, later on when I came to when they were discussing this, they were saying that because of the fact that there was this anesthesia which was flowing around in the operation theatre, and then electrical sparks being generated as a result of the electrical malfunctioning, there could have been all possibilities that there could have been fire in the operation theater. But that didn't happen because Swami was there, and Swami also supervised the whole this thing. And then, while this was going on before the operation, because of the because of the big concern that my sister and mother had, Swami promised them that, see, don't worry, I will take care of his voice. నేనే చూసుకుంటాను, కావాల్సంటే నేనే వాళ్ళకి నా వాయిస్ ఇస్తాను. మీన్స్ don't worry, I will look after his voice, and if it's necessary, I'll give my voice to him. This is what he told me. And actually, this is quite an emotional thing for me, because that's when actually Swami really, how much he goes to the rescue of his, how much he goes to the rescue of his devotees. To what extent he will go just to help his devotees. So that's how and after subsequent to this operation, for 1 month, Swami used to call me inside the interview room from inside the dining hall in Puttaparthi, and then get special food prepared so that I could recuperate and become better after the operation. And I actually realized this now, that see, this was such a small procedure, but then the way Swami took it was as if this was a big operation, and there has to be a lot of preparation for that, and there has to be a lot of time given to recuperate after the operation, because Swami kept on asking me to have that special food for almost a month. There were times when I used to sit with, this is just a funny incident which happened during that time when I was sitting. Then we were sitting and having lunch with Swami. So this special food was prepared, and then it was basically served to me. And then Kasturiji was there, and Swami was having his food. So Swami's food was served, and then he said, okay, start. And I, just to give the pretense that I am praying before Swami, because we were taught always in the hostel that we have to sing that Brahmarpanam Brahmavi. And so I just prayed. And when I prayed, at the end of the prayer, I saw Mr. Kasturi ji looking at me, staring at me. Then Swami also looked at Kasturi ji and said, "Endukatla chustunnavu? Why are you looking at him like that?" You know what Kasturi ji said? He told that, "Swami, don't you think his prayer was very short? He finished it off very fast." Then, of course, Swami always comes to the rescue of his devotees. So he said, "No. Pray chesaru kada." So he has prayed, no? Okay, now you start. So these were things which when I reflect back upon, I realized that Swami was preparing me for what he wanted me to do in the field of singing. So first he looked at the talent of singing, because see, singing is something which is God's gift. Everybody and anybody can't sing, so God's gift is there. And then what he did was, once he decided that this person can sing, he started getting encouraging us and trying to get the best out of it. This was done with a lot of practice, with lot of encouragement, and with lot of positive reinforcement that, listen, you can sing well. And then as time went on after this incident, I realized that no, see, Swami has given me a voice. Now I have to sing what he sing to the best of my capacity, and to the best of uh, my contribution to the mission. Because Swami always told us that Namasmarana is very important in our lives. So and also during this time, there was one more thing which happened simultaneously. This was also happening. Swami started started giving me that Dwarpalaka door. You know that it's known as staircase duty. So in that staircase duty, when I first went in, uh, it's basically what you are inside the interview room in Puttaparthi, or you are in the staircase in Brindavan. And whenever Swami comes out or comes in, you are the person who will open the door or close the door after Swami has come inside or gone out. So he started giving this duty to me, and then started talking to me in Telugu. It was a big struggle for me to reply back to Swami, but Swami was unrelenting. He kept on singing, speaking to me in Telugu. And again, it is his wish and his grace that yes, I started learning Telugu, and there was a big purpose behind all this teaching of Telugu. The big purpose was that Swami started to ask us to sing Ramagatha, and this Ramakatha was sung hundreds of times. And again, the same principle, hundreds of times singing in front of Swami, just giving us the confidence, making us aware of the nuances of that singing, making us aware of how to pronounce words, making us aware of the emotions that should be depicted while singing this song, were all taught to us by Swami. Swami taught us the language. He taught us. He made us practice it often, but he guided us in the nuances of the singing. He guided us in pronouncing the words, and he guided us in the emotional nuances that had to be brought about in the singing. So this was one more this thing which I actually remember with so much of gratitude and love that Swami showered on us, so that we could become better instruments in his in this mission. So this was Ram Katha. And one of the, Ram Katha is a group of songs, which is around 5 songs, and it will take around 45 minutes. There are various incidents which are associated with Ram Katha. When we used to sing the Ram Katha in front of Swami, Swami used to be so, see, he has heard Ram Katha for so many times, but then no, the same sense of enjoyment, the same sense of attentiveness to what is happening, what is the stanza that is being sung, was always there, despite the number of times that he heard. And then the emotions, right? There were times when Swami used to be so emotionally attached to that song that there were times when he used to be, you could see the emotion that was welling in his heart when certain parts of the song were being sung. Like, take for example, this is the part. This is in Telugu, of course. So this is the part when uh, Lavakusa are singing about the banishment of Ram, Lakshman, and Sita, and their journey towards to the jungles, and all the people of Ayodhya are coming and pleading to Rama, "Don't go, don't go." So this is the part which used to whenever I used to sing that song, hundreds of times I would have heard it. But then whenever I used to sing that song, that amount of emotional connect which Swami used to have, no, or exhibit, was a thing to be seen. And this was also one of the things which used to be liked by all of us, because we then knew that Swami was completely connected with the song, because our singing has reached him. So I just thought I'll give this a glimpse of this. So this is the part where the whole of Ayodhya is pleading with Rama not to go. Vedalinadu Raghavudu Adavikega Padati Sita Saumitri Todu Nidega Vedalinadu Raghavudu Adavikega Padati Sita Saumitri Todu Nidega Ghodu Ghodu Nayodhya Kullu Mannadi Veedakuma Manaledani Vedukonnadi Adugula Pariraghava Adugula Pariraghava Agamannadi 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 Adali Adali Kannirai Arayuchunnadi. Everybody's falling at the feet of Rama. Adugula Padi Raghava Agamanadi. Please stop, do not go, do not go. And this was the song this was the part which always had a lot of emotional connect with Swami, and Swami used to feel so emotionally attached to some of these things. The one more song which Swami used to like a lot in Ramakatha was Sri Ramuni Charitamunu Telipedamamma Ghanasilavati Sita Katha Vinudo Yamma. Then one more part which describes Rama is Mandasmita Sundara Vadanaravinda Rama Indivara Shamalanga Vandita Shushama Mandara Manandopama Madhura Madhura Nama Sri Rama Suguna Dhama Raghuvamsa Jalati Soma Sri Rama Suguna Dhama. Ram Katha used to be sung in front of all the hostel students. All it is like Sai's Darbar, Rama's Darbar, Sai Rama's Darbar, and all of us are singing about Rama in front of him, in front of the God who was Rama in his previous avatar. There couldn't have been any better atmosphere, any better time, any better songs to sing in front of the Lord Sai Rama. So this was one of the things which which Swami actually taught us during our stay in this. So the whole thing was that Swami always kept on, he started preparing us. He started preparing us by making us learn Telugu. And then he started coming into the practices, trying to tell us the nuances of the emotions that should go into each of the lines, telling us what each of the what the meaning of the songs which are there. You know, so much of love and so much of compassion he had, that he wanted to get this out, so that the people who hear get connected to God, and then be aware of Rama during that time, during the time when they hear this thing. You know, it is. I consider this when I reflect back upon what the times that we spent on in singing the Ram Katha in front of Swami. I mean, I cannot comprehend the grace and the love that he showered on all of us, because we were singing Ram Katha in front of Lord Rama. And all of the people who were there were people who actually who were listening to the glory of Rama being sung in front of Lord Rama. What a beautiful scene, and what a beautiful atmosphere that used to create. So this is what Swami used to do. And then each of us were molded so that we could translate what he wanted his devotees to hear. After that, of course, Swami also made us sing that Sai Katha. That's also one more thing which I should bring. I think I should touch upon is how Sai Katha was constructed, or how Sai Katha was built up. Adinaran Rao and Rajeshwar Rao, I think two of the most famous Telugu music director and lyricists, were very ardent devotees and staunch devotees of Swami. So what Swami did was he is this enough time, or there is? Hello? Can I am I exceeding time? Okay. So this Adinaran Rao and Rajeshwar Rao were tasked with constructing the Sai Katha. Sai Katha was nothing but the story of Swami. So what Adinaran Rao and Rajeshwar Rao did was they came to Vrindavan and stayed in the hostel for around 15 days. And every morning, 1 hour to 2 hours Swami used to spend with them. And then Adinaran Rao used to write the lyrics, and then Rajeshwar Rao used to compose the music, and then they used to present what they have done for the day to Swami. And then Swami used to listen, and Swami used to say that, see, why are you using this word? Use this word. Why are you talking of this incident in my life? Talk of this incident in my life. Or take, for example, there is a song which talks of the incident of the lost horse. Okay, the song goes like this: Niko salamu papa. It is in the form of a kavali. It's a Telugu song in the form of a kavali. And who gave the idea of making it into the form of a kavali? It was Swami. Swami made it in the form of a kavali because the horseman was I think belonged to the Muslim community or something, right? So Swami said, why don't you put it in this form? So there was such small inputs from Swami into the Sai Katha. And and then I'll tell you one more thing. The confirmation of the incidents that happened in Swami's life, and the depiction in this musical composition were all confirmed by Swami. Like take for example, Swami. There is in Sai Katha there is one part in which the beating of Swami by the stick is depicted or sung. Like it says, okay. Are you a devil or God? Nuvu devatava na leka leda dayyamava. Are you a god or devil? Tell me truthfully. Leda muppu dappa dinka. Otherwise, I'll hit you very badly. Nuvu devatava leka dayyamava. Cheppu nijam leda muppu dappa dinka. So this is the part in which his father, Swami's father, is beating him up, telling him, are you God or are you a devil? Tell me properly, tell me the truth. Otherwise, I'll hit you very badly. And all these, I can imagine the amount of hesitation which Adinand Rao would have had while penning this. But Swami said, no, you write it. So this was one more incident of Swami composing, getting into the musical field. And then after that, what used to happen was Swami used to practice this. Let us practice this Sai Katha rigorously, and then he used to come himself and then sit down for the practices. And then he took all of us with him, and we stayed in Sundaram and recorded in the HMV studio. This is that time the HMV studio was in near the Gemini flyover. I think that is the Gemini flyover. So we stayed there in Sundaram and then recorded this song, and then recorded this whole musical composition. And in 1978, it was released during Swami's birthday, and it was sung for the first time in front of Swami. Of course, subsequent to that, that amount of dispassion which Swami had. The amount of involvement which Swami had. He gave his all into this composition. But then after that, he also had that huge dispassion, our detachment, to take himself away from it. It wouldn't have, after the Sai Katha was released and sung in front of Swami, Swami never asked us to sing Sai Katha. He always asked us to sing Rama Katha. Why? Because, that amount of detachment which he had from his, from asking us to sing his life story was so huge that he didn't really bother about asking us to sing the Ram Katha, the Sai Katha, and he used to always ask us to sing the Ram Katha. So this is on the Sai Katha and the Ram Katha, and then the last last incident that I was privileged to be part of was the Bhaja Govindam drama which Swami commanded us to put up. This was during our Ph.D. days. So all of us were busy with our studies, and then we're trying to do the research work so that we could give good results which will enhance the prestige of the university. Suddenly one day evening, Swami calls myself and another, I think Gopi was also there, one of the persons who was there. He calls us and says that, see, listen, Swami has commanded you all to put up the Bhaja Govindam drama. And you, Hirok, will be the Adi Shankara. This was a bolt from the blue for us. All of us, again, see, that's what I'm saying. Swami always knows what is each person's talent or hidden talent that he has. See, but none of us were very confident actors because we had not acted in any dramas. But then Swami said, "No, you have to put up this drama." Uh, then the other problem which was there was that I have a very high power, and I can't see without my specs. So I was just wondering, how will I be able to do this, because I will not be able to walk 2 steps without my specs. So the first few days, um, I started practicing with my specs. Everybody started saying, "You can't wear your specs and do the drama." And then Swami started coming for practicing, for our practices. The other thing was, how would you know how Shankaracharya acted, how Shankaracharya walked, how will Shankaracharya talk, how will he convey the messages that he had to convey. I need to tell you one more thing, that Swami was one of the other favorites which Swami had was the Bhaja Govindam. So Ram Katha, Sai Katha, and Bhaja Govindam. These were some of the most favorite compositions of musical compositions which of Swami. So Swami, because there is a lot of lesson in Bhaja Govindam which can be conveyed through the drama. So Swami, so then what happened was, we started practicing with whatever limited knowledge that we had, and Swami started coming for the practices. And believe me, during these practices, Swami spent a lot of time in those practices. And then during these practices, Swami used to tell each and everybody used to tell that, see, this is how you can deliver the dialogue. This is how you can walk. How will Shankaracharya walk? How will he hold that kamandalu or that danda which he used to carry? How will he hold that? All that was taught by Swami, and that Swami spent nearly a month coming almost every day. And during the practice sessions that we used to have, there were various experiences which each of the people who participated in the drama had. But one of the things which, and then after that, of course, all of us who used to practice very seriously, and then used to try to put into practice what Swami used to teach us, and there are times when we think that we know too much. So one of the days, we told Swami, this the way this Bhaja Govindam is practiced, is sung now. Why don't we sing it this way? Swami immediately said, "No, Induku, why should you change the tune? Let it be like this only." And that's how Bhaja Govindam was done. And then before the drama, Swami presented each of us with the ochre robe, the ochre upper garment, and the dandas. Swami got those dandas specifically, and then put those orange clothing with this thing, and then he gave each of us, those people who were Shankaracharya and his disciples, each of us those dandas. And and then of course we went on to put up the Bhaja Govindam in Chanmakananda Hall, which was very well received. The only thing which I wanted to tell during this time was that, see, Swami understood the talent of the boys, right? And he tapped that talent to convey a message to humanity in general. Because Bhaja Govindam actually talks of the various stages of the life of a devotee, or the life of a aspirant, and how the life lessons of what is the correct way of looking at the material things, what is the correct way of looking at knowledge, what is the correct way of taking birth and death, or what should be the practices of a person who's a householder. All these things were conveyed in that 1.5 hours of drama which Swami directed. It was Swami who directed this whole drama, and that's how Bhaja Govinda was the. So all this interaction with Swami, in all these experiences of Swami which I've had, I just wanted to emphasize a few things. In terms of Swami's interaction, or in terms of Swami's interaction with all of us, Swami always gave love and compassion, and then he always taught us to be effective and able instruments in his mission. And the more importantly was the fact that always Swami wanted us to have a sense of surrender. I remember in each of these dramas, before we used to start the dramas, always I used to go and tell Swami, mere maa ko kaapa dali. Swami, only you can save us. Or Swami, we surrender all our these things at your feet, so that you can help us tide over this whole drama. And it used to be, when I first told this to Swami, before the drama happened in the college auditorium, Swami, he would have heard what I have said, but then he wanted to hear it once again. And he said, what are you saying? I said, Swami, mere ka padali, you only should take us through. And the sense of surrender, the sense of scrupulously following what Swami wanted us to do, the sense of doing the best for what Swami the task that Swami has given was always present, and this is what he taught us. Just a bhajan before I conclude. I hope I've not exceeded the time. So this is a bhajan which is a very a bhajan which beseeches Swami to shower his grace and blessings on us. This is Daya karo he karuna nidhan Sai, tum ho data daya karo, tum ho Sai कृपा करो, दया करो हे करुणा निधान साई,
दया करो हे करुणा निधान साई,
तुम हो दाता दया करो,
तुम हो दाता दया करो,
तुम हो साई कृपा करो,
तुम हो साई कृपा करो,
प्रभु तुम साई अंतर्यामी
प्रभु तुम साई अंतर्यामी
पतिपुरी भगवान
प्रतिपुरी भगवान
पतिपुरी भगवान
प्रतिपुरी भगवान
तुम हो दाता दया करो
तुम हो दाता दया करो
तुम हो साई कृपा करो
तुम हो साई कृपा करो
दया करो हे करुणा निधान साई तुम हो दाता दया करो. May Swami shower all his blessings and love on all of you, because you have come to know of him and have been drawn into his family. May all the best of everything happen in all of your lives. I just thought that I should tell you what we have experienced as students, or what we have experienced with Swami in when living in with Swami, because all of us are in the journey wherein we say that Swami is everything and we are nothing, right? So that is what all of us should be striving towards, so that we can become good, proper instruments, primarily become good human beings with a lot of compassion, have a lot of empathy to everybody around us, and follow Swami's instructions to the best of our ability, because he always took out the best in each of us, and he knows what is best for us. In our life, I'm sure he knows what the course of your life, or all our lives, and he will give us what is due to us. Sairam. Jai Sairam.
Sairam, brother. Sairam, dear brothers and sisters. Thank you, Brother Hirok, for your simple, humble, down to earth, but extremely profound, interesting, innocuous, values loaded delivery. I mean, I don't have more words for this. There should be more. And on the loving impact of Swami in everybody's lives. That's what you are focusing on. And how Swami showed his presence in Shillong and showered his care thousands of kilometers away from Parthi. So it shows how Swami can reach any place, anywhere, anytime, when it is the right time. So there are so many things. As I said, it was innocuous lecture or talk, but there are so many things to be captured. I'm going to quickly run through them, okay? Just to summarize, the following are some of the salient takeaways from today's wonderful talk. Swami is the universe in our life. I'm just basically presenting what Brother Hirok said. This Sai journey is for all of us. His love and compassion are foundational. I mean, that's what he has primarily to offer to us. He mentioned how in difficult times, when prayed with faith, the importance of faith, Swami showed his presence and gave reassurance in various ways. His family experience showed how when time comes, Swami just embraces us. Our entire families he embraces and makes things happen. He encourages and gets the best out of everyone through positive reinforcements. That was the term that I liked. Swami wants us to practice to perfection to get us to innovate down to the nuances, like 100 times of Ramakatha practice, Bhajagovindam, Ramakatha. He teaches, guides in every aspect. Swami's interest, intensity, and involvement never dies Despite repetition, a big lesson for all of us. He wanted to present the best to his devotees through his students. He tapped talents appropriately, focused on appropriateness of presentation. After all that, it's so wonderful. Swami just detaches himself from the prior action and moves on. Moves on. Swami knows your problems, he knows your health, he knows everything. He meticulously plans for you, ensures down to the last detail the specifics and as to how things should work. He takes complete responsibility for you and does wonders to address all issues. All you have to do is surrender to him. That's all there is to it. And finally, the icing on the cake, the supreme moment was when Swami told Hirok's parents, if necessary, I will give my voice to him after the surgery. That is something I need to mention, need to repeat here because that is so profound, so astounding. To what extent Swami goes to save his devotees? Unparalleled, unimaginable, incomprehensible. It's just fantastic, phenomenal. That shows Swami's care for all of us. All we need is faith and to surrender to Him. Having said that, once again I thank Brother Hirok for the wonderful lecture or talk. I don't want to say lecture, but talk, Sai sharing. And then I would just follow up with a few questions and answers, Brother Hirok, that came from the Sai brothers and sisters. The first question is how to speed up our spiritual progress.
How do okay? uh, See see that the reason why I said Swami becomes our universe is just us, just that, right? Basically, when we fill our lives with Swami and believe in Swami and always think that Swami knows what is due to us and will never stop that from happening to us. That's when you give up each and every aspect of your life to him. In professional terms, when you're working in the profession, in your profession, uh, what I've understood is that we need to work hard, whatever you say, because that's what Swami always taught us. He used to work very hard. Work hard, uh, work with dispassion. Again, uh, these are all very, very high flowing terms, but work with dispassion with the hope that Swami will give what is your due. That's the first thing. Then the third part is that when you believe that Swami is everything for you, right, and you are nothing, it basically is the ultimate form of surrender. There were times when our egos used to clash with what Swami was telling. But then when you go and reflect back on reflection, you find that what Swami was saying was the correct thing because he is God. A simple thing like in our daily life, if we practice compassion, empathy, being good human beings, I think those are things which will help us progress faster in our spiritual progress. I hope I've been able to. Can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Yes,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
I was
yeah,
muted. I was muted. Thank you
yeah.
very much for your answer. Your answer was precise. The right parameters that are needed for us to be able to gain the spiritual progress is through action in our lives, and that you mentioned with specifics. Thank you. The second question is kindly share with us your mental state when the divinity was in your close presence, in proximity, when you were traveling along with him, or when you were, when he called you up the stairs and everything. How did you feel? Your mental state. Thank you.
Okay. At one level, when we were in his physical proximity, Swami used to interact with us in that same vein as a human being, right? So that was one of the things which is always very deluding, in the sense that Swami never gave his interactions were always very human. But then in but then in between, when he's interacting as a human being, right, suddenly he'll give you a glimpse of his divinity. Okay, so when he is calling you, or when he is taking you along with him, right, like take for example, there are many times when I have gone with Swami to say Uti or Kodaikanal, right, and I have traveled with Swami in his car. uh, the normal activities which Swami used to do was, like, take for example, give us something to eat or ask us to sing bhajans and all those things, right? And then there are also times when he used to tell very profound philosophy during the this thing. So uh, as a devotee, I always felt that I was in the presence of God. As a human being, I always felt that I was interacting with him as a human being. I remember one more thing. When we were coming back from Uti once, when we were passing through Mysore, okay, after we passed the Thalagapa's temple, which was there, which is on the bank of the river Kaveri. As we were approaching Mandya, Swami just told me in Hindi. That time I was not very proficient in Telugu. He told me in Hindi, Swami, next janma idhar hota hai. That is in Mandya. So, when the mental state was what? The mental state was that you always knew that you were in the presence of God, and as a human being, when we are interacting with Swami, we were interacting with him just on that human plane. But that thought, like take for example, that thought, even when we are there away from him, that thought that he will always be in our mind and he will know what we are thinking was always there.
Thank you, Hirok. Before I ask the next question, there is one little Sai incident today that you should know, you are not aware of. You sang Daya Karo He Karuna Nidan Sai, and that was precisely the song that was sung before your talk from Parthi.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Showing Swami's presence. Okay. The third question is, can you please tell us about the experience of the first moment that Baba is God at God only, nothing else?
Can you just repeat that last part?
Yeah. Can you please tell us about the experience of the first moment that Baba is God and God only, nothing else?
Uh, Actually, very frankly telling you, when I first came to know of Swami, right, at that time I did not know who God was, because I had never experienced who was God, right? And all of us wouldn't have experienced who was God. So the things, that incidents that happened during our stay in those faraway places, right? Those incidents, were only reinforcing what we all always knew. Because I am actually telling you very frankly, I came to Swami after my 10th standard, so I actually hardly had any experience of the world. So after my 10th standard, when I came to put up Vrindavan, and I started studying in Vrindavan, I was not that mature. But then I never had any hesitation in accepting the fact that, see, if there is God, it is Sai Baba. Okay, and to say that He is God, I still have to travel that. But in my mind, in my heart, in my mind, I know that if I've seen a God, it is Sathya Sai Baba, because I don't know of any other God.
Thank you. And my next question, or rather the next question submitted here, Brother Hirok, how do we get the same experiences and the connect that you had with Swami? Could you please share your thoughts on how we get and maintain that connect with Swami?
Yeah. Uh, how we get the connect with Swami and the way he interacts with Swami. Okay, that is something which Swami actually has an individual relationship with each and every one of us. And what I have experienced is not necessarily what you will experience, but then you will have similar experiences and you will have similar uh, manifestations or similar exposure or similar love for Swami, love from Swami in a different manner, and it will be wrong to compare these two experiences because Swami interacts with each one of us individually. In my daily life, I what I try to do is after Swami has left his physical form, what I have tried to do in my daily life is a few things, right? A simple thing like I remember him when I get up, I remember him when I go to sleep. Number one. Number two is during the time when I am working, because I'm in a job, right? So I work to the best of my ability and with integrity. Because I believe that I have to work hard and I have to take this work as a worship. Okay, and if I take this as a worship, it basically means that I have to work hard and work to the best of my ability. Then the third thing, then the other thing which I do is like um, try to be. In your ambitions or in your daily life, let's not harm each other, right? Let's not harm other human beings. Let's be good human beings. Let's be compassionate and empathic human beings. That's how I've been, right? But and that is what I feel that is what carries us through, and has the connect with Swami, because this is what he taught us, right? Like take for example, when you go for a social service, right? There are some people who will be able to connect with Swami through the social service. There are some people who will be able to connect to Swami through a bhajan, or there are some people who will be able to connect Swami through doing some activities which are this thing, which they feel will please Swami, right? I think we should do all that, right? Because all our activities, if we dedicate it to pleasing Swami, no, I'm sure that'll bring about the connect which we have with Swami.
Thank you, Hirok. There are more questions, but then I'm going to, for want of time, I'm going to just ask you just one more question that I find it interesting here. Having sung the Ramakatha in Sai Rama's Darbar several times, I'm going to ask the second question of this, participant. Had had Swami explained about any incident which has been written in Ramakatha Rasavahini but not written in Valmiki Ramayana to you guys during all those interactions for Ramakatha, or anywhere else if it is not written, anything that comes to your mind that is striking and distinct?
Uh, like take for example, there are not no specific things which Swami talked about Rama, but he talked about the physical features of Rama. I think those physical forms, features of Rama, how he was. Like take for example his. Uh, he talked of Swami. Swami talked about his height, Rama's height. It was, I think, something above 7 or 8 feet, almost 8 feet. And then he talked about how his arms were much, very long. These are some of the things which he talked about Rama. But primarily, what Swami was always emphasizing was the lessons that we can draw from Rama's life. More importantly, the lessons that we can draw from our life, from Rama's life, and then how Rama actually Swami talks more of Rama than Krishna, right? So, but why? Because of the lessons that can be drawn out of the Ramayana, the lessons that Rama's life gives, the lessons that Lakshmana's life gives, the lessons that Sita's life gives. But what was very very striking, and which Swami used to keep on emphasizing on about the life of Rama and Sita and Lakshmana, were the tremendous dedication that they had to each other, the devotion that the younger brother had to his elder brother. This was something which Swami used to always emphasize. Number one. Number two is uh, the amount, the devotion, and the interaction or the relationship with Sita had with Rama. How how those the relationship, if we follow the relationship norms of Sita's relationship with Rama, how they are the best norms to be followed in family life of all beings. This was something which Swami used to emphasize a lot. But for the students, right? For the students, Swami was not so particular about the second part of the Ramayana, right? The Dampatya Jivana. He was not he did not emphasize so much on that, but he used to emphasize more on the path of good or the path of dharma which Rama followed. Okay, these are the generic things. But physically, Swami talked about how the height of Rama, or physically Swami talked about uh, the the length of Rama's arms. All these were talked about, and I think these things were not there in the Valmiki Ramayana.
Thank you, Brother Hirok. Once again, a very big thanks to you for all the wonderful experience that you shared and the values that were derived out of that you could share with all of us. It really was telling and impacting for one and all. And finally, a very big thanks again to the Sai Rama and all of us. Sarvanama Swarupa Sai Rama. Thank you so much for this wonderful divine congregation. And we will look forward to the next one tomorrow. And I would conclude with our regular prayers. Sairam. समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शांति शांति। जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।